HS2 Lite is a step closer as government open talks with northern leaders. We're going to read into this exclusive from iNews, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an exclusive from iNews with the headline, "The HS2 Lite a step closer as the government open talks with northern leaders." The Transport Secretary Louise Haigh has held talks with private businesses and metro mayors advocating for a new version of the axed high-speed line. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So I'm just going to show you this before I give my initial thoughts here. This is the Mayor's proposed Midlands Northwest Rail link. So you see the stations there, HS2 Phase 1, the Midlands Rail Hub Staffordshire Connector, Northern Powerhouse Rail, the enhancing existing lines, Cheshire Connector of Crewe, Northern Powerhouse lines, a new line. So this is supposed to be a map of the route of the proposed HS2 North replacement. Supposedly of a proposal of what it could be. Now, obviously, I was more in favour of sticking with the original high-speed rail before the Conservative government scrapped it and sold off the land with it. They threw away so much taxpayer money at the expense of it, which still infuriates me to this day, because I generally believe that there should be high-speed rail links between the north, between all the way to the north up in Glasgow and Edinburgh, going all the way down, connecting with the northern cities such as Hull, Leeds, Liverpool, Manchester, and whatnot, and that connection and that strong connection from there all the way into the Midlands, like Nottingham, Birmingham, Derby, there all the way down to London, St Pancras, London, Euston, etc. There should be a high-speed rail link to increase that. But for me, more about the transport should be more in touch with the North and the Midlands. The transport network there is just not as good as it is around London. Let's be serious, yeah. The transport networks are not as strong as they are in London, and for me, it's really important that is built there. Now, unfortunately, when HS2 was originally began, it started in London, which was the worst decision they could have made. And the cost just kept going up and up and up and up and up, and then the Prime Minister ended up scrapping it, which I still believed at the time it was the wrong decision. Yes, because I know a lot of money was thrown away. I know there was a lot of dodgy stuff within it. I'm fully understanding of that, but I just felt like it was highway robbery, because one of the things that really, if you want to improve and grow the economy, which the Labour government are banging on about, is you need to build infrastructure. You've got to have infrastructure. And one of the places that's lacking the infrastructure as much as rail infrastructure as much is the Midlands and the North. And they need that far more than London and the South. They need it a hell of a lot more if you want to build the economy. Because what happens when you build new infrastructure, guys, build new rail lines and whatnot, create new jobs, brings in investment, more commercial, and in tune, then it brings more money into the country, basically. So it's pretty much common sense, and you need to consistently have new infrastructure projects. And this one here, obviously, I hope it gets the green light, and I hope it gets the funding it needs, and hopefully this will not be abused as well. So let's read a bit more into it, you guys. So the government has opened talks with northern leaders for an alternative HS2 rail link, amid increasingly certainty the project will be given the green light the eye understands. So the Department of Transport, the DfT, has pushed back against the reports that government has already agreed to effectively resurrect HS2 as fast Crewe. But northern leaders believe that the DfT and Number 10 are supportive of their plans for a slower, lower specification rail link which makes use of the legislation and land already assembled for HS2 between Birmingham and Crewe. The eye understands that parties in the North are hopeful that the Transport Secretary Louise Haigh is open to holding a summit with the consortium of private businesses and metro mayors, including Andy Burdon of Greater Manchester and Richard Parker in the West Midlands. Now, I already know what people are saying with the warning lights here with the term private businesses. Like I said, if you want to entice investors and people and whatnot into this, building up infrastructure, there will be some private. There will be some. You can't do everything by the state on this. There will be a case of private businesses. So this, unfortunately, is something that had to be the case. You have to involve them if you want to help grow the economy as well. Negotiations are at a delicate stage, with the mayors having called on Labour to establish a steering group and fund a feasible study to examine the alternative plans in more detail. Hopes have been raised after senior officials confirmed that a study could be released in the coming weeks, according to the Financial Times. One source told the Eye it's fair to say that things are moving in the right direction. It's on. Labour is judging a number of infrastructure requests ahead of the budget, with Chancellor Rachel Reeves said to be considering altering the physical rules to allow more capital spending. It is widely expected that the government will use the set piece on the 30th of October to commit to making sure HS2 ends at Euston Station in central London. Ministers have warned that any other choice would prove disastrously wasteful, as huge amounts of infrastructure, including tunnel boring machines, are already on site. It is not clear, however, whether Ms Reeves will also give the go-ahead for a feasible study into an alternative HS2 rail link. That leaves open the possibility of the government committing to a large amount of rail investment in London, but not in the north in its first budget. Plans for a HS2 alternative were put forward by a private consortium led by engineering giant Arab and commissioned by the Greater Manchester and West Midlands combined authorities. Yeah, I remember hearing about this before the election, actually. A report published in September claimed that the replacement could deliver up to £70 billion in economic growth for as little as 60% of the cost in HS2. The Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, endorsed the report and said the proposal was viable, practical and affordable. The proposal did not give a total estimate for the cost of Midlands North West rail link, but said it would be financed by both private and public investment. Ms Haigh has already indicated the government will greenlight further investment to make sure HS2 gets to Euston in central London as originally planned. However, transport officials attempting to play down the prospects of HS2 running north of Birmingham being resurrected on Thursday. A spokesperson said, "We have always said we won't be taking plans for HS2 Phase 2 back off the shelves after the Conservatives took a wrecking ball to the project and allow costs to spiral completely out of control. But we are committed to delivering better rail connectivity across the north set out in our manifesto. Transport is an essential part of the government's mission to rebuild Britain and grow our economy." Like I said, the strong infrastructure, you can't build an economy without the infrastructure for it. And transport is very, very important for that. Now, whether this gets the green light or not is obviously, they're saying it's very likely to do so. I would say take it slightly with a pinch of salt. I think we may hear about this more in the budget at the end of this month. That will be, may hear something about that in the budget. It's likely that we'll hear something about this related to this. So that's something to take on board as well. But I'm all for more investment in transport, particularly in the north, the Midlands. That is for sure. That is where I feel that the infrastructure projects need to come more, and not really around London as of right now. Excuse me. I think that's where the priority should be when it comes to transport network links, as of right, in my opinion. There are other places, of course, up around England and Wales that have projects that need to be looked at. Absolutely. But I just feel they need that. They need it right now, in my opinion. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make about this HS2 Lite? Apparently, that this exclusive from the Eye. Do you think that the Labour government will invest along with private businesses to ensure new infrastructure projects up in the north? Let me know your thoughts and more about this down in the comments section below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing, because it really does help support the channel. If you want to go one step further and financially support me in the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.